When I started sewing, the most confusing part for me was understanding the sewing words. It took me a while to learn the language of sewing, so today I want to share 5 sewing words every sewist should know, and I'll try to explain them in a very easy to understand way. So we will start with the most mysterious setting on a sewing machine: tension. The official definition of thread tension is the amount of thread that can pass through sewing machine to create a stitch. I'll be honest, for the longest time I didn't understand what it actually means. But actually, thread tension is quite easy to understand with a very practical example. So let's switch to the sewing machine. On my sewing machine, I'm going to be using contrasting color thread so that you can see the difference better. For the first part of the test, let's set the sewing machine tension to 0. This means the lowest tension setting. Let's lower the presser foot and try pulling the thread. And you can feel that the thread can be very easily pulled. Now let's make a straight stitch seam and see how 0 thread tension will affect the seam. Here we can see that because top thread has no tension, it's forming very loose stitches, and the stitches are not laying close to the fabric. And in fact, we have so much top thread in the seam that it's even visible on the wrong side of the fabric. This means that there's too little tension in the seam. Now let's do the second part of experiments and let's turn that tension to the max. On my sewing machine, the maximum tension setting is 9. Let's lower the presser foot and try pulling the thread. You can feel that the thread is very tense and you can barely move it. Let's sew a seam using the maximum tension setting, and when we sew a seam using the highest tension, we can see that the thread is very tense, and it's so tight that it even pulls the bobbin thread to the top. This means that the thread tension is too high. So you're probably thinking, what is the normal tension setting that I should be using? Lucky for us, our sewing machines want us to succeed, and because of that, they usually have markings on the tension discs indicating what tension setting should be using when working with medium weight fabrics. On my sewing machine, the regular tension setting is marked in gray. This means that when I'm sewing medium weight fabrics, my tension should be between 3 and 5, with medium being 4. Let's try sewing a seam using same fabric, same thread, and tension setting 4, which should be used most when sewing medium weight fabrics. Now we have created a well-balanced seam. The thread is laying nicely on top, the bobbin thread is not visible from the right side of the fabric, and on the inside we don't see any top thread as well. In most of your sewing projects, keep that tension set on the medium tension setting. The general rule is, if you start seeing the loops of bobbin thread at the top of the fabric, you have to decrease the tension. And if you start seeing the top thread at the bottom of the wrong side of the fabric, then you have to increase the tension. This next word is ease, and if you heard it, you're probably wondering what it is. For the longest time, I couldn't understand why the bust, waist, and hip measurements of my body is very different than the measurements in the pattern. And it's all because of ease. So let me show you an example so that you can understand what ease actually is. I'll take my waist measurement as an example. Waist is measured at the most narrow waist point in a relaxed position. Let's hold the measuring tape at body measurement and let's try to take a deep breath, bend over, or sit down. That's uncomfortable, and we can feel the measuring tape squeezing into our sides. Now let's add 2 centimeters on top of the body measurements, and now let's hold the measuring tape again. Now the measuring tape is staying in place, but if we try to move, breathe, it's much easier. And that's because we added ease. When you're working with fabrics and designs that has no stretch, remember that the body measurement will be different than the pattern measurement because the pattern will have added ease for comfort of movement. Before we move on further to the list, one of the most common questions I get from beginners is where to start. I recommend starting learning from the basics, the core sewing essentials, and locking in every bit of knowledge that you gain with practice. To help you start your sewing journey, I have created a beginner sewing course where I guide you through every step of the garment making process. In the course, you'll learn how to select the tools and fabrics, how to take measurements, and how they reflect in patterns. You will learn how to thread your sewing machine and make various seams. Lots of information, lots of practice, everything you need to start sewing your own clothes in 2 weeks. If that sounds like something for you, I'll link the course in the description box down below. Now let's continue with our video. The third word that was complete mystery for me is interfacing. In short, interfacing is an additional layer that is applied on the fabric on the wrong side of the fabric and the inside of the garment. And the main purpose of interfacing is to strengthen the fabric, protect it from stretching out, help it keep its shape, and add sturdiness. I love visual examples, so let's take a look how applying interfacing will affect the fabric. So here is a medium weight woven fabric. The part that has no interfacing has a little bit of stretch and it drapes quite easily. This is the same fabric with fusible interfacing applied on top. Now you can see that the fabric is much more firm, it feels sturdier, and it holds shape better. And also it won't stretch out as easy as without interfacing. Strategically adding a tiny piece of fusible interfacing on your neckline, armholes on sleeveless dresses, on the collars, on the buttonholes, on the hems will add extra touch to your garments, and it will help you elevate the garment quality to the next level. If you're interested in learning more about interfacing and what you can do with it, I have 2 videos here on YouTube about my best interfacing tips, so here are the videos that you may be interested in watching next. The fourth thing I want to discuss today is woven fabric. Very often you will hear woven fabric or knit fabric. So what is woven fabric? To put it very simply, as sewists, we classify the fabrics into 2 main groups: woven fabrics and knit fabrics. There are a bit more types of fabrics, but to put it simply, woven fabrics and knit fabrics. By construction, these 2 types of fabrics are very different. Woven fabrics are constructed by weaving when we have a big loom with vertical threads and then add horizontal threads, creating a weave, while knit fabrics are constructed by knitting. Imagine knitting needles, but of course in factories knitting is done by machines. And in knitting, the fabric is created by making yarn loops and then interwoven with other loops. Because of these 2 very different construction methods, these 2 types of fabrics behave very differently. Woven fabrics don't have any stretch unless they have elastane added into it. Knit fabrics, on the other hand, because of the loops, naturally have stretch. Because of the stretchiness of the knit fabric, you can create a close-fitting silhouette and still feel comfortable. While when you're working with woven fabrics, you'll need to add darts to create a 3D shape of your body. Not only does woven and knit fabrics have different patterns and different designs, they are also sewn different ways. When you're sewing knit fabrics, you want to maintain that stretchiness, so you're using elastic stitches, maybe you're using elastic thread. While with the woven fabrics, you don't have stretch that you need to maintain, so you can sew it with universal needle and using a simple standard straight stitch. This is why knowing the difference between woven fabrics and knit fabrics is one of the sewing essentials. I left the most confusing word for last, and it's bias. You will often hear cotton bias or bias tape. So what this actually means. To understand what a bias is and its benefits, let's take a look at the anatomy of the fabric. Fabric has a lengthwise running edges on both sides, which are called selvage. Parallel to the selvage, we have vertical running threads, that are called warp. Crossing vertical threads, we have horizontal threads that are called weft. Diagonally from selvage, we have bias. When working with woven fabrics, the warp and weft threads are usually very strong and they have very little stretch. Diagonally from selvage, at 45-degree angle, we have bias, which is where the fabric has the most stretch. So bias cut fabric will have stretch and elasticity. How this will benefit us? Let's make a very short example. Here I have cut two straps of fabric. One is cut horizontally and another one is cut at 45-degree angle. Let's try to form arch from horizontally cut strap. When we're trying to do that, the fabric does not want to bend and it wants to return in its initial straight shape. But if we try to arch the bias cut tape, it arches out beautifully. And that's because bias cut strap has stretch and elasticity. Bias cut will allow us to add elasticity and stretch on fabrics that don't have natural stretch. This is why when we're working on necklines, when we're working on sleeveless armhole finishes, we often take bias cut straps to create a beautiful curve. Bias also has a very nice drape. This is why some designs will benefit from having that beautiful bias drape. So here are all 5 sewing words that every sewist should know, and I hope I was able to explain it in a very easy to understand way. If you're starting your sewing journey and you want to learn all the basics of sewing, I will link my sewing course for beginners in the description box down below. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye!